Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I just lost my screen. At this time, everyone is invited to recite the Pledge of Allegiance if they would like to. Scott, did you have a flag or should we just?
I do.
Okay.
Queuing it up as we speak.
Wonderful. There we go.
Okay. Am I on? Okay. Hand over heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Linda, have there been any communications?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to move at this point that we approve the minutes of the virtual regular public meeting of March 19th, 2020, the virtual regular public and executive session meetings of March 23rd, 2020, and the minutes of the virtual public workshop and executive session meetings on April 20th. In other words, minutes of our last 3 meetings. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, Linda.
Ms. Byer? Please unmute yourself.
I think she's trying, but her hand was raised.
Okay, Ms. Byer, can you just nod your head? Okay, thank you. Ms. Simaresti? I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Ms. Coleman?
Yes. Here.
Ms. Gowan?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Magaziner?
Yes.
Ms. McFadden DiNicola?
Here. Yes.
Mr. Roslevich?
Yes.
Mr. Woodward?
Yes.
Thanks, guys. Student representatives, Andy and Stella. Stella and Andy, go ahead, please, if you have something for us.
We do. So as usual, starting at the high school, Mr. Lassiter did end up hosting all of his grade level fireside chats. He had a total of 62 students attend. He shared information about the pass-fail options, the expected work ethic during this 4th marking period, and the upcoming events, such as our Electronic Model United Nations Conference that's on May 30th. The next fireside chats will be in the evening around progress reports in order to increase student attendance. So the original meetings were around like 9 a.m. or something, so before our allotted periods. Another message is to follow @HopeInPercy on Instagram to get updates about the school and our students' efforts. The account was put together by Ms. Luxa to showcase our efforts and to continue to build our community remotely. We were able to put together a video with the help of Stella and our administrative professionals, thanking them for all they do. And Ms. Luxa says, thank you, Stella. Lastly, the project graduation committee will be meeting with Mr. Lassiter on April 28th to plan for a graduation celebration for the class of 2020 while keeping social distancing in place if required at the time. Over at the middle school, administrators are shouting out students for exceptional remote learning work via recorded Zoom videos. They are also sending personalized videos for students who may be struggling. Remote Diversity Day is scheduled for May 22nd. Ms. Lexa and Mr. LoBianco have an SEL classroom set up for students to complete fun SEL tasks. These assignments are not graded, but meant for social emotional engagement. And lastly, at the middle school, the Night Owl program is working to provide pizza to students who had previously participated. The dinner will be accompanied by discussion questions to promote family engagement.
How is the pizza? Will the pizza be delivered, or what's the plan for that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. No, it sounds like all kinds of potential options. Andy, what was the website or Twitter account that you mentioned in the high school report?
It's @HopeInPercy on Instagram, which
Hope
are
and Percy.
That is what Mr. Lassiter named the 2 owls out front.
Oh, the owls. Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you. Okay, thanks.
And at Bartle, we have Miss Maiden and Miss Young have a SEL and
Counseling Google Classroom to support students and families. It is filled with SEL activities and resources to support students and their families during this difficult time. Teacher Appreciation Week is the week of May 4th. Keep an eye out for virtual teacher appreciation activities on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. At Irving, a family survey will be going out this week as another way to gauge families that may need help either emotionally or economically. Ms. Gonzalez continues to update families weekly with SEL activities to the little ones and guiding them through this pandemic. She is also conducting counseling sessions via Zoom. Ms. McNally will be starting lunch with the principal next week. Great to connect with the students in a fun way. Teacher Appreciation Week starts next week, and Ms. McNally will be sending home in her newsletter this week out virtual teacher appreciation activities and getting the families and students involved, and all of their information will also be on Twitter and their Facebook pages.
Thank you so much, Stella. Stella, I got to say that video that you did early in the lockdown with the various teachers at the high school, that was you, right? That you did a lot of that work? That was amazing. Where can we find the administrative professional video?
I can talk to Miss Luxa, but it should be on the Hope and Percy account.
Ah, okay, that sounds right. Wonderful, thanks. Well, I'll check it out.
No problem.
All right, any questions for our representatives, guys?
I am as well.
Okay, let's see. I guess I recommend everybody mute if you can remember to when you're not talking. And maybe that'll cut down somewhat, and I will mute in a second. Okay, Scott, do you have a superintendent's report for us today?
I have an unstable internet connection, so forgive me if I go in and out. I don't have a formal presentation to make. I'll just give you an informal update, though, on how things are proceeding from now to likely September. While the governor is suggesting that there's a chance we'll be opening before June 22nd, which is our last day of school, most of my colleagues and I in the county doubt that's going to happen. So we are preparing for virtual moving up ceremonies, a potential drive-by high school graduation parade. We're even looking at potentially having to go remote learning for our summer programs. We are planning for all eventualities. So we're even thinking that there's a slight chance that we wouldn't reopen in time for the beginning of the school year. So we're considering what we would do in that event. I'm going to be putting a lot of this information in Honeywell going out to parents and guardians on Wednesday night. So I'll share with the entire board the text of that Honeywell after it goes out. But that's all I have. Next week, I'll be presenting the final budget. So that's the big next presentation I'll make.
Thanks, Scott. And I really appreciate your Honeywells, particularly the one recently that really made clear to people that if you need lunch and you need breakfast, come get it, no questions asked. You know, just report to the locations that we've discussed. It's there for everyone who needs it.
Any other efforts we can make as a board to get the word out would be helpful. We're not seeing our numbers increase.
Okay.
I have the borough working with me. I know that the COPE volunteers are getting the word out as well. But if you have connections or a network to tap, please do so. Anybody can obtain a meal.
Absolutely. Under our new board members' social media policy, board members are allowed to provide information, you know, non-controversial information. So if you have networks, groups, commissions that you're a liaison to, you know, go ahead and get stuff out there, please. Let's see. Okay. Thank you, Scott. Any questions for Scott? All right, let's go on to our board committee reports and recommendations. Michelle, could we start with curriculum, please?
There is nothing new to report since last time we spoke last week. I don't believe that there is anything different except for the HIB report. We're going to amend letter E. That's an amendment to the decision that was made, and so we are finding that a HIB did not occur in that case. So that's what we'll be voting on.
If someone votes yes on your motion, they will be voting to approve the report with the exception on letter E, that letter E is not a HIB.
That's right. So
that's what a yes
others
vote would mean.
Yes, confirming the others and confirming the amendment on letter E.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for curriculum? Okay. Finance. Mark. When you're ready.
There we go.
No.
Yes. Thank you.
I don't know if I'm muted or not. Let's see.
No, it's
Okay.
hard to tell sometimes. So we went over many of these last week. We have numbers 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are all new. Are all new items. Their approval of various bill lists, cafeteria lists, travel and related expense reports, the treasurer's report, board secretary report, certifying no budgetary line has been overextended in violation of NJAC 6A23-211A. Board of Education certifications that were not in violation of that same letter, but number B, and that sufficient funds are available to meet the district's financial obligations for the remainder of the year, and approvals of various budget transfers. Item 10 and 11 we went over last time. That's the out-of-district placement and the safety grant application. Item 12 and 13 are new. I'd like to spend a few moments on number 12. So number 12 is an acceptance of donation, and I'm going to read it. I move that the Board of Education accept the recommendation of the superintendent to accept a donation of $15,000 from Greg Brown in honor of Coach Louis Orbely to benefit the high school baseball program. Mr. Brown is a Highland Park High School and a Rutgers University graduate. He's currently the chairman of the board and chief executive of Motorola Corporation. And he, in some interviews I recently read, he talked about his education at Highland Park High School and praised it, and talked about riding on his bicycle 2 miles to school and how much he really wanted to be here and what he got out of it. So we thank him for this donation. It's really wonderful to get a number like that from someone. So Lou Borbely was a coach who I knew for 30 years, coached baseball and football in Highland Park. Back in the day when Jay Dackelman was the athletic director and Joe Policastro was the football coach. He worked in both baseball program and football program, and he was looked up to by generations of students at Highland Park. So it's wonderful that this is given in his memory. So that's item number 12. And again, thanks for that donation very much. 13 is the approval of our dental insurance renewal. And that's our usual renewal for 1 year from July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021 with a 0% increase in premium rates.
Wonderful.
Which is wonderful. We should have 0% increases in our premium rates going forward from everyone. That would make the board finance committee and our business administrator very happy.
Linda?
If I can make one comment, this is the 6th year in a row that we've had 0% increase in dental. The previous year, the experience was high, and they wanted to give us a 10% premium increase. But I think because of the whole COVID-19 situation, they were willing to go 1 more year. So we're very thankful for that.
That's wonderful. Thank God.
Okay, so that's the finance report.
Any questions for Mark at this point? Was that a hand, Rob Magaziner, or just a
well, yeah,
blurry?
Well, I was clapping about the zero. Curious, Linda, though, on the dental. Do you have any sense of what approximately how many or percentage of the staff avails themselves of that dental insurance?
I'd have to look it up, but I think it's a pretty lot of them.
Okay.
In fact, I could tell you that pretty quickly if you want to give me 1 second.
Thanks.
1 second.
Does anyone else have a question while Linda looks that up? No. Okay.
Okay, just 1 second.
Sure. Yeah. Take your time.
Okay, dental. We have 200 employees, so pretty of the vast majority do. 33 people are well, 39. Well, 33 people are waiving benefits,
Wow.
but the vast majority do get benefits. And if I can point out, any premium increases are passed directly on to the employees. So this is really greatly helping the employees.
Great.
To 0%.
That's great. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thanks. Okay, personnel and communication, that is me. There are a few things that weren't on last week's. Just for anybody watching the recording, we had a workshop meeting the week before we vote. That was last Monday, so we discussed most of these things already. Number 3 is new, an approval of the child care leave extension. Number 7, many thanks to Ms. Hofola for holding interviews and hiring a new personnel/payroll bookkeeper. We're delighted to have Ms. Fontaine joining us. Let's see. We have a new professional development noted, several new professional developments, a payment to a guidance counselor. Number 13 is approval of an additional personal day for staff who work to prepare remote learning activities on March 13th when school was closed. And that is it. Oh, and we're delighted to have Ms. Brady back, as we said last week. She's back from her maternity leave. Are there any questions?
And I'd just like to clarify what that last resolution is about. I did make, go back to March 13th. I'll never forget it. It's Friday the 13th, the first day we had to shut down because of COVID-19. It was also the day when we were supposed to have staff begin remote planning work. They couldn't do so, so I arranged with HPEA to compensate them on some level for something that they are putting extra time in doing. So that's why we struck that deal to give them an extra personal day. So they'll have 4 personal days instead of 3 next year.
I'm sorry, that's because they worked an extra day on the 13th, or because they couldn't work an extra day on the 13th, so they had to work? I guess I was confused.
So I'm sorry, I should clarify. They were scheduled to come in for a half day on Friday the 13th. We ended up extending the time that they needed to do their planning to essentially a day and a half. So the full day for the personal day makes up for what they did on their own.
On the weekend or
the
whatever.
other thing I'll do,
Got it.
I want to give everybody a heads up that next week begins the march towards the end of the school year in some form, and that means that the personnel agenda is going to blow up. We're going to be recommending reappointments for all of our staff starting next Monday.
Great, okay. So keep an eye out, guys. Any other comments, clarifications about personnel? All right, I seem to have lost part of my agenda. Equity, policy, excuse me. Mark, policy.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so we have 5 items, excuse me, to review. The first one, as Ann pointed out earlier and last week, the board member use of social networks has been modified so that in cases where there's information to be passed out on a social network, where someone asks a question, you know, where are meals delivered or something like that in this situation or any situation, the board is allowed to respond. We simply can't respond where it would undermine the board or undermine our position on the board per the state rules and regulations. B, which is number 1613, that was modified. I think I brought this up last week. That was modified to have the applicants reveal more in their background, particularly if they had come up on any kind of sex offender or into any kind of sex offender situation in the previous school setting. And that's based on law changes. Item C is a minor modification to the school level parent and family engagement, which has to do with who can and cannot be, I think it's the coordinator of homeless. And so we made a small change to that to allow additional position to be the coordinator of homeless in the district. Item D is an addition based on law in ESA, which has to do with, well, it's educational stability for children in foster care, which has to do with additional regulations about supporting children in foster care. And that's what I reviewed earlier on Friday, I believe, with Scott, because there was some small errors in how that was presented. And then item E, simply, it's a mandatory policy. We didn't have it, and it mandates that the superintendent and administration will manage the varsity letters for students and set up the rules for the district in giving out varsity letters for any interscholastic extracurricular activities in the district. And that is a mandatory policy.
Okay, any questions or concerns for Mark? Nope. Okay, Monique, there are no equity and excellence items on the agenda. Was there anything you wanted to share? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I muted? Maybe you're muted.
She's muted.
Monique is muted.
Yes, hi. Yeah, nothing to vote on and nothing to share at this time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that brings us to public comment, if I'm not mistaken. The Highland Park Board of Education welcomes public participation and has reserved this time for your comments. Board policies 164 and 167 establish and regulate the right of the public to participate in public meetings. I don't see any of the members of the public present. If anyone is just logging on, give them 30 seconds here. Oh, I guess actually they would have to be logged on to see us, right?
There's no one extra on.
Yep. Yeah. No. I know. We're not live stream, so nobody can watch unless they're on, so we would see them. Okay. Let's move on to our committee action items and our votes. Michelle, would you like to move the curriculum items? Let's unmute you. Oh, there
Sorry.
you are. No, that's
okay.
fine.
I don't have the agenda in front of me, and it's on the other window, but I believe that there's 3 items.
No, just number 1.
So there's just the one?
Yes, just number 1.
So we're going to vote on item number 1 with the amendment on letter E. As a reminder, that's an amendment to find that the HIB was not confirmed.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mark. Is there any discussion? Okay, Linda, could we do the roll call, please?
Ms. Byer?
Yep, let's see.
Nod your head. No? Ms. Byer, is that a yes? Okay. Ms. Coleman? Ms. Coleman left the meeting.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Ms. Gowan?
Abstain on 1A through D. And yes, as to the rest of the amended report.
Okay. Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Magaziner?
Yes.
Ms. McFadden Nicola?
Yes.
Mr. Roslevich?
Yes.
Mr. Woodward?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Mark, would you like to move the finance items?
Yes, I'd like to move 1 through 13.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions and discussion? Please proceed. No? Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Anybody? All right, let's move to the roll call. Thanks, Linda.
Okay. Ms. Byer? Nod your head. Sorry, I wasn't looking. Okay. And Ms. Coleman is absent. Ms. Gowan?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Magaziner?
Yes.
Ms. McFadden Nicola?
Yes.
Mr. Roslevich?
Yes.
Mr. Woodward?
Yes.
All right, personnel, I would like to move items 1 through 13 on the personnel agenda, please. Is there a second?
Second.
Questions, discussion, comments? Okay, could we have the roll call, please, Linda?
Ms. Meyer? Okay, yes. Ms. Coleman? Oh, that's right. She's still she's still absent. Ms. Gowan?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Magaziner?
Yes.
Ms. McFadden Nicola?
Yes.
Mr. Roslevich?
Yes.
Mr. Woodward?
Yes.
Has Monique texted anybody to let them know she's having trouble getting back on? I'm not seeing anything
No.
online. No. Okay. Okay. Where were we? Policies. Please, I think. Yes. Yes. Policy. Mark, would you like to move those items?
Yeah, I'd like to move item 1, and that's this is for first reading, and it's numbers A through E.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, questions, comments? Okay. Roll call, please, Linda.
Ms. Meyer?
She's back.
Monique is back.
Monique is back. Hi, Monique.
Hi, sorry.
That's okay.
I was trying to get to a board folder. Next, you know, I X'd out our Zoom meeting window. So
Yeah, that's inevitable. So, Ruth, we got your vote. Linda, you and Linda locked eyes.
Yes, okay.
Okay, good.
Oh, poor Ruth. I feel so bad for you, Ruth. Monique, we are on the policy agenda approval. What is your vote for policy?
okay, yes.
Okay. Ms. Gowan?
Yes, we just voted on all the items under policy. Monique, I wasn't sure.
Yep,
Yeah,
okay.
okay. Yep, I'm a yes also.
Okay. Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Magaziner?
Yes.
Ms. McFadden Nicola?
Yes.
Mr. Roslevich?
Yes.
Mr. Woodward?
Yes.
Okay, no equity and excellence items, so we'll move on to number 14, board liaison reports. Municipal Drug and Alcohol Alliance. Scott, I assume that there is nothing.
Correct, hasn't met.
Mark Krieger, Borough of Public Information, Highland Park Television, and Cable TV Advisory.
Nothing.
Okay. Rob Magaziner, Highland Park Educational Foundation.
Nothing. Thank you.
Chris Woodward, Commission for Universal Access.
Also nothing.
I'm guessing this is going to be pretty quick. Scott, Public Library, has Ms. Rodriguez been to any meetings?
Yeah, the library met.
Ha-ha.
Michelle Rodriguez represented us.
Wonderful.
But not much to report, except that everybody is working from home. They're still providing some services through email. They have updated their website to include a virtual library card for people.
Oh.
And I have to give a shout out to that new director. She's been she's on our professional development facilitator list. She's been offering workshops for our staff.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I'll attend the next meeting May 18th.
That's fantastic. And I know she's doing read alouds, or the library is doing read alouds and stuff for the younger kids.
Oh.
I believe. So yeah, Michelle, I think you might have pointed that out. So anybody listening should check that out.
Definitely. I follow them on Instagram. I'm sure that they're on Facebook as well. So any of their social media is worth following, and it's much more active than I remember it. So.
Oh, that's wonderful to
Great.
hear. I'm so glad. All right, thanks, Scott. Shared services, that's me, nothing. Special Ed Parent Advisory Committee, Ruth and/or Monique.
Nothing
Anything to
that
share?
I'm aware of has been happening.
Same, Ruth, I'm thinking. Okay. Human Relations, I am actually in touch with them to
point
find
of
out
order?
what. Oh, excuse me.
Parents of students of color?
Oh,
Right.
sorry. I have a really hard time reading and looking at the camera, all that at the same time.
Me too.
OSAC, Monique.
Nothing there either.
Okay. Human Relations.
Thank you.
I've been in touch with Ashton. I'm not sure. I assume meetings are suspended for now, but I will report back when I hear more. Ruslevich, Mr. Ruslevich, Board of Health.
I have nothing to report for Board of Health or for the next item, the Green Team.
Okay, we did Cable TV, Delegate to New Jersey School Boards. I've forgotten who the backup is. If it's me, there's been nothing. Delegate to Middlesex County School Boards, Michelle. Anything happening?
Actually, I am going to attend a virtual county meeting
Oh,
tomorrow night.
wonderful. What's it
So,
about? Do you know yet, or?
I think it's a general, like, regular meeting. I don't know what the agenda is. I just registered thanks to Janet Becker today.
Oh, fantastic. Maybe we'll get some good ideas from our fellow county districts.
Yeah, and if anyone has any questions for me to include when I get there, please email me. I definitely intend on asking them what their views are on municipal broadband.
Oh, on broadband, yes. That's wonderful. Maybe they can help with that.
It's absolutely a utility. It's an essential utility, I think. So.
Absolutely, and thank goodness we got the light path thing going on. That's just wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, have I skipped anybody? Please raise your hand. No, I see no hands. President's report, I have nothing to report at this time. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? New business. All right.
I just have one question.
Oh, go ahead, yep.
It's just for the Personnel Committee. I'm wondering if we can meet tomorrow at 4 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock.
That, I think that's fine. Oh, you know what? I can't actually. I'm sorry. I have I could do 4:30 or later, but I can't get there at 4.
Chris probably can't make it. I noticed that said no, so we'll stick to 6 o'clock.
Sorry about that, Scott. It's very rare that I have anything else to do these days, but
all good.
Okay. New business. I think we did that. We did that. Covered that. Public comment. The Highland Park Board of Education welcomes public participation and reserve this time for your comments. Board policies 164 and 167 establish and regulate the right of the public to participate in public meetings. There is nobody on with us, so I am thinking there's no public comment. All right. I'd like to move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Is there a second?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. See you guys next time. Thanks, everybody.
too.
Next week.
Bye.
Take care.
Next week, right.
Some
Bye-bye.
of you Wednesday.
Yeah,
Bye.
yes.